Imagine holding a cup of coffee each morning, unaware that your kidneys sense it before you do. You taste warmth and bitterness, but your kidneys interpret it as a sudden shift in internal weather. For years, you may have heard the same warning. Coffee dehydrates you and quietly dries out your kidneys. But the data paints a very different picture, and the contradiction is where this story truly begins. Coffee is the #1 source of antioxidants in the Western diet, surpassing fruits and vegetables combined. Yet, it is also the drink most frequently blamed for harming kidney filtration, a paradox begging to be untangled. This paradox is powerful because it hides a deeper truth about how your kidneys actually work each day. Most people imagine the kidneys as simple water filters, mechanical strainers beneath the ribcage. But that picture is outdated and dangerously incomplete because your kidneys are high-pressure biological reactors. Every minute, nearly a liter of blood surges through these microscopic turbines called glomeruli. Their filtration rate, or GFR, is not a water flow number but a pressure story shaped by the force of circulating blood. GFR rises and falls, not with how much water you drink, but with how your blood vessels respond to chemical signals. And this is where coffee steps onto the stage, not as a villain, but as an unexpected disruptor of ancient safeguards. When caffeine enters your system, it challenges a molecule your kidneys rely on to regulate blood flow. To understand this disruption, you must first see GFR through a new lens, not volume, but vascular choreography. What you call kidney filtration is really a dance between blood pressure, vessel tone, and molecular whispers. That dance changes instantly when coffee arrives, and the direction of that change depends entirely on your biology. This is the moment where most explanations reach for myths, but the NIH and Harvard data point somewhere else. Coffee does not dry out your kidneys. It reshapes the hemodynamic doorway controlling blood flow into them. Sometimes that reshaping protects the kidneys, and sometimes it strains them, depending on hidden factors inside you. Those factors are the difference between coffee acting like a gentle exercise or an unexpected stress test. By the end of this discussion, you will see exactly how daily coffee alters kidney filtration in your body. To understand what coffee really does to your kidney filtration rate, you must zoom into a battlefield no eye can see. Inside each kidney, tiny arterial gates determine how fiercely blood enters the glomerulus. These gates respond to a molecule called adenosine, a quiet guardian that protects your kidneys during stress. Under normal conditions, adenosine gently narrows the afferent arteriole, reducing blood flow to prevent damage. It is your kidney's emergency brake, slowing filtration whenever oxygen drops or blood pressure falters. But caffeine arrives like an impersonator, slipping into the receptors where adenosine should speak. When caffeine blocks those receptors, the brake is lifted and the afferent arteriole widens unexpectedly. More blood surges in, pressure rises, and GFR climbs in a sudden wave of hyperfiltration. For a healthy kidney, this surge feels like a mild workout, a temporary stretch of its vascular machinery. But for a vulnerable kidney, even early-stage CKD, this surge becomes a silent overuse injury, accumulating with time. This is the paradox that confuses many people. The same mechanism can heal or harm depending on your baseline state. The moment caffeine blocks adenosine, your kidney shifts from protection mode to performance mode without asking permission. And that transition raises an uncomfortable question many coffee drinkers overlook. If hyperfiltration boosts GFR temporarily, does that mean it is good for you in the long run? The answer, according to nephrologists at Stanford, and the National Kidney Foundation depends on what happens next. Because GFR is not just a number, it is a pressure signature written into the delicate walls of your glomeruli. Too much pressure over too many mornings can stiffen these filters, the first step toward glomerulosclerosis. Yet here lies a twist that few expect. Coffee contains a molecule that may counterbalance the very pressure it creates. And understanding that molecule explains why millions of coffee drinkers do not destroy their kidneys over decades. Before we reach that molecule, pause for a moment and ask yourself something simple. Have you ever felt an energy spike rapidly after coffee, only to wonder what else inside you surged along with it? Your kidneys feel that surge long before your mind does, translating caffeine into mechanical consequences you cannot sense. And those consequences, small as they seem, accumulate into a rhythm, shaping your GFR every single day. But the next element in this story changes the entire narrative, because coffee is not just caffeine. If you find this information valuable, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments so we can continue providing content that matters to you. When most people think of coffee, they think of caffeine. But your kidneys care far more about something else hidden inside the bean. This hidden molecule is chlorogenic acid, or CGA, a polyphenol so powerful it behaves like armor for your renal blood vessels. While caffeine lifts the brake on the afferent arteriole, CGA steps in to protect the endothelium from the oxidative stress that surge creates. Your kidney filters are coated in microscopic cells that hate free radicals, and CGA neutralizes those radicals before they scar the glomerular lining. This is the part the public rarely hears. The same drink that increases filtration also defends the vessels doing the filtering. A 2018 meta-analysis from the University of Sao Paulo revealed that CGA reduces inflammatory markers inside vascular walls. Inflammation stiffens and thickens the vessels feeding your kidneys. But CGA helps restore their flexibility and responsiveness. And kidney filtration depends on that flexibility more than any dietary myth about drinking more water. Here comes the deeper connection, the one that shifts this story from kidneys to metabolism itself. The number one cause of declining GAFR worldwide is not dehydration, but insulin resistance slowly damaging the glomerular membrane. High insulin causes glucose to bind to proteins in the filter, a process called glycation that thickens and clogs the filtration barrier. But regular coffee consumption, according to Harvard School of Public Health, lowers the risk of type 2 diabetes by 25 to 30%. And when insulin resistance drops, the kidneys finally breathe again, no longer drowning in chronic glucose overload. Your kidneys listen to insulin more closely than any other hormone because insulin decides how much pressure the filters must endure. Lower insulin means less constriction, less inflammation, and more stable GFR over the long term. So coffee, in a paradoxical twist, protects GFR not by hydrating you, but by calming the metabolic storm that destroys filters from within. This is where the science becomes beautifully interconnected, because protecting your kidneys is rarely about your kidneys alone. It is about reducing the metabolic noise that forces them into survival mode every hour of every day. But there is another layer to this story, one that people with coffee habits feel instinctively without knowing why. When your insulin stays low and inflammation drops, your filtration rate stabilizes, even if caffeine pushes it temporarily higher. Yet, this balance is fragile and easily broken by one everyday factor hiding in plain sight: Because while CGA protects and insulin improves, another hormone rises when coffee meets stress or sleep deprivation. And that hormone has the power to undo every benefit you have earned, pulling your kidneys back into danger quietly and predictably. That hormone is cortisol, and its role in kidney filtration is far more consequential than most coffee drinkers imagine. Have you ever noticed your heartbeat quicken after coffee on days filled with stress? That moment is your adrenal system responding to caffeine with an extra surge of cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone that stiffens your blood vessels and raises pressure throughout your body. So what happens when caffeine widens the kidney's afferent arteriole while cortisol elevates systemic force? Your glomerular filters receive a stronger pressure wave than they were designed to handle daily. This creates a brief spike in GFR that feels harmless but gradually taxes the filtration membrane. Here is a question worth asking yourself. Does your first cup usually arrive before your stress settles? If it does, your cortisol is already elevated, making the caffeine surge far more intense inside your kidneys. This dual hit turns a normal hemodynamic shift into a high-pressure event your nephrons cannot escape. Another question matters just as much. Have you ever felt unusually alert after coffee, but struggled to sleep later? That alertness is not simply stimulation. It is caffeine delaying your natural evening decline in cortisol. Your kidneys depend on that decline because nighttime is their scheduled repair shift, not their filtration shift. When cortisol stays high, your kidneys remain in daytime mode even after you lie down to rest. This forces them to filter when they should be healing, shrinking the window of nightly recovery. Now ask yourself this. Have you ever woken feeling tired despite sleeping enough hours? That exhaustion appears because your kidneys missed their quiet repair cycle during the night. Without that cycle, tiny injuries inside the glomerular membrane accumulate faster than they can be restored. Over weeks or months, these micro-injuries harden into structural changes that reduce GFR. Silently, your sleep quality therefore becomes a direct predictor of your filtration strength over the long term. Another question many overlook is simple. Does late afternoon coffee still affect your body hours later? For slow caffeine metabolizers, even one late cup can disrupt kidney repair long past bedtime. This explains why two people drinking the same coffee can experience very different filtration outcomes. Now, let us clear a common fear. Does coffee increase kidney stone risk through oxalate overload? The science says no, because plain coffee raises urine volume and reduces crystal formation overall. The real danger appears only when sugar or syrups accompany the caffeine in your daily drink. Fructose converts into uric acid, increasing the likelihood of urate stones inside your renal system. So the question is not whether coffee forms stones, but whether your cup contains hidden metabolic stressors. And these hidden additions matter because your kidneys respond to ingredients more faithfully than your taste buds. But to understand why some people tolerate coffee effortlessly while others feel pressure instantly, we must look inward. The key lies in your genetic speed of caffeine breakdown, a biological signature shaping your daily GFR response. Every person drinking coffee thinks they are having the same experience, but biology rarely works that simply. Your reaction to caffeine is written into a gene called CYT1A2 inside your liver. This gene decides how quickly you break down caffeine molecules circulating through your bloodstream. Some people inherit a fast version of the gene, allowing caffeine to vanish from their system rapidly. For them, the kidney's surge in filtration is brief, mild, and often harmless. Over time, their vessels relax sooner, their cortisol stabilizes quickly, and their GFR returns smoothly to baseline. Then there are slow metabolizers, people whose CYP1A2 gene works like a cautious gatekeeper. Caffeine lingers longer in their blood, extending the period of elevated pressure inside their kidneys. This prolonged exposure makes the afferent arteriole work harder than it was designed to tolerate. Slow metabolizers often feel jittery, restless, or overstimulated after a single normal cup of coffee. These sensations are clues that their kidneys are also experiencing prolonged hemodynamic tension. You may already know which group you belong to based on your body's subtle signals after drinking coffee. If your heart rate climbs easily, you may be carrying the slow variant of the CYP1A2 gene. If you sleep poorly after afternoon coffee, your metabolism may be slower than you assume. These daily reactions are not personality traits, they are molecular signatures encoded long before adulthood. Here is a gentle question to reflect on. Do you feel calmer or more agitated after your morning cup? That feeling mirrors exactly how your glomerular vessels respond to the caffeine circulating through them. Fast metabolizers enjoy shorter filtration spikes and greater protection from coffee's antioxidant effects. Slow metabolizers face extended stress on the renal membrane despite enjoying the same flavor and aroma. This genetic divide explains why coffee research always shows mixed results across global populations. It is not the coffee changing. It is the inherited enzyme breaking caffeine down at different speeds. And this difference shapes the long-term fate of your filtration rate far more than most people realize. But knowing your category is only the first step, because your habits can amplify or soften your genetic tendencies. Hydration, timing, diet, and preparation all influence how intensely caffeine reaches your kidneys each day. Now that you understand the biology behind filtration, one question naturally rises. How should you drink coffee wisely? You drink it wisely by letting your kidneys meet caffeine only when your internal environment is calm. Your filtration rate becomes more stable when water arrives first, softening the pressure wave that follows caffeine. Hydration prepares the glomerular vessels like a quiet warm-up before a demanding performance. Another question matters just as much. When should coffee enter your bloodstream to protect your kidneys? It should enter only after your natural morning cortisol peak declines, preventing two pressure surges from colliding. When caffeine waits its turn, your adrenal rhythm stays intact and your filtration stays steadier. And here is another practical question. What happens when you avoid coffee late in the afternoon? Your kidneys regain their nighttime repair window, the hours when filtration slows, so membranes can heal. That repair window is irreplaceable because your kidneys restore microscopic damage only while you sleep deeply. Consider this next question. Does the method you brew coffee change what your kidneys experience? It does, because paper filters remove caffeistol, a compound that elevates LDL and strains renal vessels. With the filter in place, your morning cup transforms into something gentler for your filtration barrier. Now reflect on this final question. What truly challenges your kidneys more, caffeine or what you add to it? Sugar and artificial creamers provoke insulin spikes that inflame the glomerular membrane far more than caffeine. When your cup stays clean, your kidneys avoid the metabolic turbulence created by sweet additives. Through these choices, coffee shifts from a daily stressor into a predictable companion your kidneys can trust. And these choices carry us back to the question guiding this entire journey. What actually happens to your kidney filtration rate when you drink coffee every day. It rises briefly from caffeine, steadies with antioxidants, and strengthens when insulin resistance falls. But it can also strain when cortisol is high, sleep is disrupted, or caffeine lingers too long in your blood. Your genetics decide the tempo, but your daily habits compose the melody your kidneys follow. When those habits respect hydration, timing, and clarity, your filtration rate finds a rhythm that lasts decades. So, the real story is not whether coffee harms or heals, but whether you allow biology to guide each sip. Align your cup with your rhythm, and your kidneys turn daily coffee into something restorative, not destructive. If this deep dive into the hidden mechanics of your kidneys has changed the way you look at your morning brew, please subscribe and like the channel. We are dedicated to uncovering the biological truths and history that often remain buried. Cultivate your health and protect your future. The next treasure of knowledge will be opened soon.